welcome to yet another session of the Spill the Tea podcast with my good self, Mystic Mike, right here with
Queen Nita in the building.
Of course, but as you can see, we have a third wheel in the cog. We are delighted to have first time on the set, Annette. Annette, baby.
Hi.
What can you tell us about yourself to the viewer out there watching?
Okay, it's good to be here. Good to see you guys. Thank you for also having me. My name is Annette and I'm a media practitioner and then a paralegal.
All right, now, folks.
So right now we are not going to pay any legal charges.
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
If we need any assistance,
Any legal issues, Annette is coming through for us.
Yes, sir.
That's good to know. So, folks, no appetizers today. We're zooming in right to the main course of the day. And the topic for discussion is exploring gender roles in relationship. Exploring gender roles in relationships. So we are going to delve into the complexities of gender roles and expectations, shedding light on traditional beliefs and stereotypes that have shaped our perceptions of masculinity and femininity. So, folks, as women, as men, we are seeking to know if when you are birthed and you come with one genital, does it shape up your worldview? Does it impact on how you are brought up, how you interact with your environment? Annette, darling, what do you have for us? What do you say?
Yes, I believe that, yes, indeed. Once you are birthed and we know that you are either your sex is a female or a male, there are certain expectations that we look out for from day one, you know, in your home, the parents that really take care of you and bring you up and rear you. There are certain things that they would imbibe in you to say that women do this or men do this. So even if you find yourself doing certain activities or behaving in a certain
cutting
way,
across to the other side and say, hey,
no,
you are a girl, you can't do this.
You are a boy, boys don't do this. So yeah, it's from the get-go.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
the
when
gender roles are like,
once you are birthed into this earthly realm, the genital you carry informs
Exactly.
how you are brought up.
Exactly.
Nita, do you share this view?
To some to some extent.
Okay.
Reason being that where I come from, as in culturally, children are not gendered. Okay. Children are not gendered until they reach puberty. So it is at puberty where the roles are defined. And so that is when, as a man, now you've reached puberty, and so you are developing to be a man. And so your roles are taught that you are the provider, you are the protector, you are this, you are that, you are that. And also the female, you know, you are taught that you are the nurturer. You have to you have to comport yourself. You have to be decorum. Like you have to be well nurtured,
Ladylike,
you know, and stuff like that. But like I said, generally children are not gendered because whatever. So for instance, let me put it this way. For instance, if in a household the first child is a male and he happens to have younger siblings, he does all the chores in the house. Do you get it? And takes care of the younger siblings until they've also reached such an age where, you know, they can also independently or supervisory.
but can I
do
come
chores.
in there? Because you know that even though before they get to that puberty stages and all that, when they begin, like they are toddlers, and let's say a male child is playing with a doll, I believe that regardless of the culture or wherever they come from, he will be told that no.
Especially if there's an excessive interest in playing with dolls or figurines.
I would also beg to differ because when I was growing up as a toddler, I never liked dolls. I never liked dolls. Anything that was cars, planes, anything that was masculine, like for boys.
You shifted towards that.
That's what I preferred. And when it comes to reading, like books, I didn't like fairy tale books. I didn't like Cinderella and Rapunzel and stuff like that. I was reading books like Popeye, okay, and
adventure.
Thompson and Thompson.
Okay.
And
so you shifted towards the adventure bit of things.
I was reading like Gath.
Okay.
If you remember Daily Graphic, those times they used to have this, called Gath. So I didn't like fairy tales. So when my mates were reading
but the question is, the question is, even if you didn't like it, what was the response from your parents? Were they trying to refocus your energies towards the feminine side of things?
No.
They allowed you to explore.
Yes.
Okay.
Cases like this are
the exception rather than the norm. So I think you both have valid points or valid submissions, because it is true that in many Ghanaian homes, the parents set out to set the path right at the goal. So if you are birthed, you are a lady, right there they start. So you hear the mother saying, Akosia, I'm cooking, you are a woman, come and stay by me.
Exactly.
Whilst they will leave Kwesi to continue playing outside, playing the ball and all that. And then, the man too, you see that when he is working on a vehicle and stuff like that, he will be calling the son, Chachu, get over here, you need to start learning these things. So I get that, and then I also understand that some parents are observers. They tend to also observe. So in some homes, they would want to impose their will on the children, but some homes also they observe, as perhaps happened in Nita's home, to observe that what are the peculiarities of this child, where is his energies shifting to, so that then they can make informed decision based on the data set before them, because they want to see why is this child always shifting here and not here. So I think it's a blend of both sides that can happen. But the question I want to also ask is, Nita, would you say that in a home, if you were to rear or raise kids, how would you implement these two dynamics? Which one would you go for yourself?
As in,
are you going to reinforce the gender roles that a woman should, attend to this, a male child should focus on this, or you are going to be able to, flow and let things flow in your home? How would you want it to flow in your home?
My home will be neutrally gendered. I mean, you see, there are some things that ideally it's a male's job. For instance, mowing the lawn. Do you get it? And so I wouldn't expect my daughter to mow the lawn, but I would expect the boy to mow the lawn.
Why wouldn't you expect your daughter to do same?
Maybe because of the machinery.
Okay.
It
can hurt her. Or it's difficult operating it?
Yes, yes. But if you've handled a mower before, it's not
an easy thing.
Yes, it's okay. No matter how
it takes the strength.
You need. There's this level of
macho that you have.
Masculinity. Yes, it's different from washing a car.
Okay.
As for car, everybody can wash a car. Okay. Do you understand? Even if the girl wants to wash a car, it's no.
She can do it herself.
It can be fun.
Yes.
You get it, but to mow or to weed, if let's say there's not even no mower, but to weed or to use how do they call it? I've forgotten the name. Is it the pincers or the pincers or whatever? To
flowers.
Yes, to manicure the flowers and stuff like that. It's you're a male, so you can be able, but if you're a female, the kind of energy that you need. You get it. So I wouldn't expect her to do that.
So you do agree that there are certain fields that is the preserve of men. You would say.
I'm not disputing the fact that some things are like male specific in terms of their role as a male. And you see, sometimes nature and nurture at a point merge. Do you get it? The sheer fact that he's a boy, do you understand, simply means that he has the natural masculinity or the natural strength to do certain laborious work. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And the mere fact that she's a female and she doesn't have that strength naturally to do that kind of laborious work, why should she do it? It does not, again, like, it does not mean that there are certain things. So let me be in context. Okay. Should I have children in my family setting, both male and female, or even just males, or just females? Though both genders would be very domesticated in the sense that they would know how to clean after themselves. They would, the basics of cooking and laying their bed and, you know, stuff like that. It's just basic. Do you understand? Be them male or female. Okay. However, when they are getting to a certain age, again, I come back to adolescence, entering into puberty. That is when they begin to what they are as their gender begins to manifest. Do you understand? So, like I said, the boy at the age of 12, between the ages of 12, 15 and above, can start to read or to mow or do certain things. Okay, maybe lift heavy load or something like that. The girl is, by virtue of the fact that it's female, does not have that kind of strength or capacity.
There's a limitation there.
But
to
regardless,
do
when it
such
comes
things.
to like weeding, girls do weed.
In girls' schools, girls' school, they
the mixed school,
they are made to weed as well as punishment.
So you can, for a girl,
But Annette, what I love to know is you sometimes find a young man has completed university, has started life on his own, and then he says, I don't know how to cook. I can't even boil hot water. I can't even boil hot water. And you ask yourself, and what he say is, my parents did not teach me. So if a male child utters such a statement, is it an indictment on the parents that they didn't take him through that learning process?
Yes, it is. Because at least, regardless of the sexes of your children, they should know how to do certain things.
Because these are survival skills.
Yes. You know, so as a parent, you are not always going to be around. So certain things, some skills, you have to imbibe it in your children, being it a boy, a girl, whatever it is. In my family, we are 6 in number, so that 2 female and then 4 males. Every one of the male children in my home, they know how to cook. I mean, there was a time that I became so lazy because by the time I'll come back,
Food is ready.
My younger brother Daniel will have done everything. Palm soup,
Granite soup.
whatever, anything. There is nothing you will mention.
So
that
I don't want to
I am saying
interject.
that parents should be able, even if it's not that detailed, at least something like
That you can survive on your own. You can cook rice.
Noodles, rice.
Okay.
Honest, I don't want to interject. Let me just chip
If you're a parent
this
and
in.
you don't do that, I think you
Let me
will
chip
fail.
this. I want to chip something
some
in
level.
before you continue. You see, Daniel, right, is domesticated. Do you get
All
it?
of my brothers are.
Yes, but I want to make a point. Daniel is domesticated. In a relationship, if he should be married, as much as he's domesticated, okay, I'm saying something, as much as he's domesticated, I wouldn't expect him, do you understand, to go to work, close from work, come back home, and come and prepare a meal for his wife and children. Do you understand me? When perhaps, right, the woman may be a housewife, or perhaps she's self-employed, like she's in a traditional role, as in she has a shop and stuff like that. Do you get it? And no matter what, under the circumstances, okay, maybe on the weekend, right, she can make sauces and soups, you know, and keep it in the freezer or the fridge. And whatever the case may be, if he comes back from work, at least he it is not now that he's coming to make a meal. Do you understand?
But is that not an asset? Is that not an asset going into a relationship that he has this skill set?
Yes,
because
he can survive.
Other things,
or without.
other things, other assets we have. We are proud of those assets heading into relationship even we victimize illiterates because we say we are literate. I'm a degree holder. I'm a master's holder. I'm a this, I'm a that. So people use that to even win the relationship wars or game because they use that to go in. So if a male child is as competent in the kitchen as Daniel is that not an asset that will make him woo his wife instead of for her to make a decision to spend long term with Daniel?
One problem I have is the fact that, like you mentioned, we've become educated, we've done this, that we are beginning to destroy the very substance. We are becoming so entitled. Do you understand what I'm saying? That we are losing the substance of who we are and the foundation of what makes the family unit. Do you understand? I'll tell you this. A typical man is domesticated. You can't take that away from him. Do you understand? But as domesticated as he is, he looks forward to coming home, to eating a meal from his wife. Do you understand? But you know what too? The urban man does not, a typical urban home, right? When a woman comes home with protein, let's say poultry, meat, like any form of meat or fish or whatever, do you get me? It is the man that actually dresses it. Okay. The woman doesn't dress it. It's the man who dresses it and cuts it into
whatever portions or pieces.
Pieces or portions, and the woman prepares food with it. There are other moments that the man just wants to make, like he has a craving. And there's a particular delicacy he's craving for. He makes it himself. And the wife has no business participating in the making of the meal. Do you understand? Maybe the only thing he would let her help him with probably is the grinding of pepper, or maybe he would let the children help with grinding of pepper. But as to cooking the food from scratch, he would do everything. So I'm saying that these things, okay, it's we shouldn't feel entitled that because our partners have the capability of doing certain things, they must do it. I am thinking that it is a plus for a man to be domesticated because in case of the ill health of the woman, in case the woman goes to the hospital for childbirth, you know, she's in labor and stuff like that, in case she's breastfeeding but she had some complications during the childbirth and so has to be in bed rest for some time. There are some pregnancies that are difficult. She must be on bed rest or could even be on admission for so long. The fact that he has those skills helps him to be able to take care of himself in the absence of the woman, or even children, if there are children involved. Do you get it? But I am saying that, you know, when this conversation comes up, the way there is that sense of entitlement that comes as though it is a must for a man to be domesticated because he has to.
No, really.
Do you understand?
For me, I don't think.
I am always of that traditional opinion.
No.
I'm always of that traditional
opinion. It's being like entitled to that. It's just that it's a good thing. It's a plus, just as you said. But we are not saying, I'm going back to what you said about Daniel, that should he get married and then you don't expect that he goes to work and comes back home and cook and all that? Absolutely not.
That is the whole point I'm making.
We are saying that it is good.
It is good that he has those skills, so that should it be that maybe the wife is not available, is not available, and he comes home, there is soup, there is stew, he can boil some rice or make.
I also think
that come home and come and prepare.
I also think even coming home and preparing a meal every day is not out of the norm, because I do recall that growing up in the 90s, our parents who were teachers, nurses, whatever, they go to work, come and prepare a meal almost every day.
Almost every day.
So if Daniel, for instance, goes to work and comes and prepares a meal, it is not out of the norm. The only thing is everyone knows when they are being taken advantage of.
Exactly.
So if because I'm skilled in the kitchen, and you as a woman would now want to take advantage of that and then delegate your duties or roles to me, or not play a part in moving this ship forward together, Daniel will know that you are being unreasonable, and there are recourse out there to Daniel to take, because he could say, I won't cook any longer. I'm not going to cook any longer. So if you are not going to cook, then we'll see what happens. But I think crucially is the duty of guardians, parents, anyone who raises kids, as Annette said, to give them that survival skill set. Sweeping the compound are things that both male and female ought to have a roster for which they would partake in those activities. Washing the dishes are things that both should be engaged in. Other duties, back in the day, we used to carry boiler or waste materials to the dump site. Back in the day. So this can be exactly, there's a roster. So Akosia, you are handling this one is handling this, so that everybody gets a rotation. You take some out, you wash some of the dishes, you sweep the compound and all that. There's a case where I'm familiar with, where a former Bank of Ghana operative who came on retirement, and according to the law, the folk law, he doesn't eat from outside. So all his meals are prepared at home by the wife. It's been good, when money is there, Bank of Ghana, life is good. So it was good. Now he's come to retirement, and yet the wife also has been there. But of late, the wife has been experiencing difficulties with health. So much so that the kids or the children had to come and carry her from her matrimonial home to one of their daughter's place, so that she can have supervised care. Now here's the man who doesn't eat from town. Now your wife who has been cooking is not there. So you yourself, you don't know how to boil an egg. Only for us to now witness that this man now will go to the KK seller, go and buy kinky. Will go here and say, see, the time has come now
for him to have put.
The time has come. If you could boil, he could have boiled an egg. He would boil an egg for himself. He could cook rice for himself. If he put it in the what's the machine they put it in?
Rice cooker.
Rice cooker. Just wash the rice, put it in the rice cooker. Simply. You can do with these shit-up mixes. Just in exactly. You should have a good meal.
With regards to what I mean, the scenario you just gave, right? I mean, I would think that ideally for somebody who has lived quite a good life, reasonably above middle class, at his age at that time, where his wife is being taken care of by his children, either he himself or his children should be able to afford a domestic help for him.
He doesn't even want one. They don't want one.
So then maybe it changes the dynamics. Do you understand me? Because, like I said, ideally, from such a background, he should either he himself pay whatever his pension or whatever his investments he's living on, or his children, per the status they are because of the background they come from. Do you get me? Should be able to basically afford to have him a domestic help, who would perform similar duties similar domestic duties as the wife would have performed, as she's indisposable at the moment. Do you understand? But for him, to now be in such a situation, But then you did mention that he chose not to have a domestic help.
Yeah.
However, his children can afford to pack a meal for him for the week.
Well,
they can also afford to get a caterer to pack a meal for him for the week. I'm just saying.
Who even warm it up? Who even go to warm the food
that
up?
One, he has to please for somebody that has had that kind of a lifestyle.
Who is going to warm it
he
up?
has an automated home. Like he has he has electronic gadgets. He would not
even operate a microwave.
Please. There is no way he will not be able. There is no way he will not be able to operate a microwave.
Well, let's look also at when it comes to the society and its expectations of us as men and women. We do have the secret societies where the various genders are transitioned from childhood to adulthood. The men have DS, and the women also have DS. The Krobos have depot rites that they perform. I think the mountains, the Bajeme people also have a rite they perform for their women, passing them through the rites. The male also, in certain African countries, there are periods where you are taken and oriented on your duties as a man and things to be done. And the women too, they are initiated, taught things to do, to bear children, raise a family and all that. So how unique or how different are these in scope when it comes to the secret societies or the rights for the females and then the males as well? You have any ideas on these transition rituals?
I don't really think there's any uniqueness in those rituals because from day one or as they are growing, they already know. They already know, and even in this day and age, social media or whatever channel, whatever media will teach you. They get to learn things from friends and even before they are past.
Back in the day, these the rites were places where elderly women have dildos, show the girls that these are penis, how to penetrate. So they take them through these things. It's there, they show them, how to take it and all that. But now, as you've mentioned,
now they need not bother themselves. Seriously.
Now they have it on their phone.
Because by the time the lady or the girl is 13,
she's already seeing things.
She knows stuff that the mother will be able
you might be shocked.
To really have a glimpse at them.
So
already.
New media has bridged that gap.
Yes.
New media has bridged that gap.
Yes, they have.
The kids now have seen the things already.
Everything. Way too much that they needed to see even at the ages that they saw it.
Does that not bring into question parental control of gadgets so that your kid can have a smartphone, can't just have access to erotic content? There's blockages on it. If they want to go to an erotic site, there's a pop-up. There's a pop-up, or the mom or the dad has a message that your child is trying to access. So I think that's one aspect of it.
We hardly put those things in
controls
place.
there.
Yeah, we hardly do, because many of our parents,
the gadgets.
They will call us to come and do this, change my DP, put this on my status, right? Save this contact.
So the digital knowledge is limited.
Exactly. So it's
anyway,
hard.
Nita,
even if those that know, even if they are able to put all those measures
controls
in place,
there, it can be bypassed. So you have it on the phone you have given your child, but another friend in the class will just bring the phone and say, "Charlie, try." Goose nini.
Oh, so Hausa will say chicken, and that's also. Yes.
Nita, dear, children getting exposed to erotic content even before initiation, rights into adulthood and all that with technology and all that. What's your bite on this?
If you cannot, as a parent, be the first point of
confiding.
No. First point or first source of information when it comes to sexual and reproductive health. Okay. Once the child hits adolescence and preteen, and you leave it to uncensored material and teachers or any other person to be the source of information for your child, then I'm sorry, you are an apology of what is called a parent. And that is all I have to say.
Well, you have it there, folks. So Nita reckons that as a parent, it's your duty to have that access to your child, to your ward, before they meet the world, before they become teens or preteens, or before, if it's a woman, the first flu, and if it's a male, by the time you see that the questions are coming in, and then he's becoming self-aware, then these sit-down conversations must be had, that this is what this body part does, and if you were to activate this body part early enough, these are the consequences of your action, so that they know.
You see, there are times that children become sexually exploited, even before they reach adolescence. Do you understand? As young as 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. These are children, thoughts, TOTS, thoughts, that do not even have a sense of consciousness. Okay, these children can disseminate or differentiate what sexual stuff are. You understand? That is when it behoves on us as the primary source of information, to teach them at that age that don't let any auntie or any uncle touch your pee or touch your boo-boo or touch your this or touch your that. Do you understand me? Or don't let any friend touch your this or touch your that, and if somebody does that, come and tell me. So at that level, you become the first primary source. I mean, first is the same as primary. You become the primary source of education, sex education or sex information.
All right.
So when they go up to the point of consciousness, that is preteen, adolescents, and all that, then you realize that they have grown up with a certain basic information that you now begin to educate them. And so any other thing around them, be it the influence of social media or peers or whatever, does not in any way affect their thoughts or their orientation, because they've already received the basics. That is why I said what I said earlier.
Okay, it makes sense.
All right, so that's all other things being equal. as the economists will say. So, Annette, how about when we become adults? We've transitioned from being children to young ladies and men to now full-blown adults who have married. What is the expectation in the marriages for men and for women? Are there predefined roles that men and women have to play, or each case, it should be case by case basis?
Okay, so at some point it will be case by case, depending on what works for people. There is no marriage or relationship that is the same anywhere. But then generally and traditionally, we know that when we are married, the woman or the wife is expected to do certain things. That is, keep the home clean, cook, take care of whatever, everybody. And the man should be the provider. In this day, we know that it's not just that. Now the men, some of them are supporting their wives at home, and the women too are now working class women. But they are able to put this together and work hand in hand, and then still man their home perfectly. So yes, in our tradition settings, the men are supposed to provide, support everything that we have to do in the house that needs their strength. Yes, and then the women take over with cleaning, cooking, taking care of children, and all those. So yeah, that's it with marital aspect of this gender role.
All right. So before we wrap it up, folks, you are reminded to subscribe to our YouTube channel and on Spotify as well. Well, the thing is this: when it comes to marriages, I think I love to take it on a case by case basis because what works for one couple would not work for another. So I think when you meet someone you want to have a long-term union with, you should have crucial discussions. And then you can have your common grounds, and then you can know your deal breakers. I think that helps because you can meet someone who is very good in the kitchen, and that will be an attractive thing to one couple, but to another couple, a woman can say, why should my man be cooking? My love language is cooking, so I want to be the one cooking to express my love to my partner. So you would think that someone male being a good cook would always be an advantage, but then it can also become something of an issue with some people as well. And then also when it comes to finance, it's another crucial part of the discussions that must be had. It isn't always that men are the earners, the big earners in marriages and in relationships. Sometimes the woman happens to earn more, and then so there is consequential effect on the union or the marriage if it is the woman earning higher than the man. The other things that would take as stereotypes, that it's a given for men and it's a given for women. Sometimes couples find that it does not work, that dynamic does not work in their peculiar union. So I would advocate for discussions to be had and see if a partner can tolerate certain things. If a partner cannot stand them, cannot tolerate them, or a would-be partner cannot stand or tolerate them, then it's best to dissolve the union and go your separate ways. I think if we do more of these things, it will save us from acid attacks where people endure horrific injuries and sometimes death. Where people are maimed with machete and co. Jealousy is quite an interesting feeling or whatever it is, stimuli that humans are confronted with. And so this is what I'll share with you folks. Nita, what would you tell us to round it up with couples in the union and what the expectations are?
Basically, be honest to yourselves, be truthful to who you are as a person. And every relationship or every marriage or every household is different, and it's unique. So do what works best for you.
Nita couldn't have said it any better. This draws the curtain on this session of the Spill the Tea podcast series.
with my good self, Mr. Mike, the lovely addition, Annette, and of course, Queen Nita. Until our paths cross again, it's ta-ta for now.